Welcome to Reach the World ASAP. My name is Pastor Scott Griswold with a story from Myanmar, often known as Burma. The Japanese are only 75 miles away. Eric B. Hare heard that news in Yangon, Burma, and he knew they must get out. Already, people were packing up everywhere. The banks were closing and sending their workers out. The post offices were closing and sending their workers away. There in the markets, everybody was packing up and leaving. It was just too dangerous, and there was hope that they could get to India and safety in time. He knew they had to leave too, and so the mission staff began to pack up. He looked at the organ. Oh, he wished he could take it. He played it one more time. He didn't know that soon it would become firewood for the Japanese soldiers. And then he saw a woman walk in. She was from down the road with that beautiful house with the mango trees and the coconut trees. What did she want? Oh, I have beautiful chairs and tables and rugs that I'd love to give to the mission. Could you take them? Oh, said the mission personnel, we'd love to if it was several months ago, but we have to evacuate too. We can only take a suitcase. It's too late. Too late, she said. She hid her face in her shawl. Oh, if only she'd come sooner, only if she'd given things when they were needed. As the mission personnel headed out of the city, they crossed the Irrawaddy River, and there on the edge, they saw another lady come up to them. She too was well dressed. She was asking them an important question, something deeply on her heart. What was it? She said to them, I want to be baptized and give my life to God. They looked at her in surprise. Yes, they recognized her. Weren't we in your home just 6 weeks ago? Didn't we kneel on your floor and plead with you and your family to give your hearts to Jesus and be baptized? It's too late now. I mean, not too late forever. Perhaps in India we can study with you and you can be baptized then, but the Japanese are coming. We have to keep moving. Too late. Too late. Did she have a view for the end of the road? It says about those who do in Proverbs chapter 15, verse 24, the way of life winds upward for the wise, that he may turn away from hell below. That is the picture of those who truly are walking with God, who are thinking of where they want their life to turn out. It is winding day by what they do ever upward. Whereas the others, they just tend to slide as the moment comes and things happen. Well, what would happen to them as they traveled? As they traveled on, they came to a place in the mountains where there was just a small place for Pastor Eric B. Hare and Brother Wyman. And they met a man who was coming towards him. Well, instead of getting out of the way, he stepped in front of them. So they stepped to the other side. He too stepped there. So they stepped back and he stepped again. Finally, as he reached out his hand to shake them, they stopped and realized this was Brother Johns, a deacon from the church in Yangon. What a surprise. They were excited to see him, but no wonder they hadn't recognized him. He had been traveling for 5 days without anything to eat. He had been one of those left back in the city to demolish things they didn't want the Japanese to have. And now here he was. He took some bills out of his pocket, some money, and he handed it towards them. He said, I am so happy to see you. I was just paid 2 days ago. It may be the last salary I ever get, but I wanted to make sure that God got his part. And I didn't think I'd meet up with any workers anywhere, and here you are. As he reached to hand it to them, both of them stepped back. They didn't want to take the last money of this man. You give it to Brother Wyman. No, give it to Elder Hare. He said, please, take my money. It's okay. God will take care of me. He's promised to do so. And besides, I have also my Sabbath school offering. Take it too. They were so surprised. Here truly was a man devoted to doing what was right. And in a time of great need, the goodness came to the surface, the goodness that God had placed there. As they traveled on, it was fascinating to watch. You see, there were the wealthy, the rich, and their cars, their automobiles stuffed to the brim. And there were the poor, walking without shoes, without even a suitcase. As they walked down the road, though, as things got narrower and narrower, and they got further and further into the jungles, the rich had to leave behind their automobiles and even many of their things until they were all walking side by side. Those in their expensive uniforms and those in their 50-cent loincloths, all of them getting dirty alike. Could you tell the difference? You could tell the difference, not between the rich and the poor, but between the good and the bad. You could tell when it came time to get a drink. There at a little place with just drips of water coming out, the leaders said, please be careful. No water for bathing or for anything, not even for brushing your teeth. Just a little for each to drink, and even then I think we only have enough for 80 of the 200. Quickly, some of the men pushed to the front, even grabbing water away from women and children. The selfishness coming out in their extremity. Others, though, stood to the back of the line. They said, we can wait till later. In fact, they went off to begin gathering sticks to cook something for supper. As they got the soup ready, that same group that had pushed to the front now pushed in to grab the soup and to slurp it up. Oh, they said, spat it out. It tastes burned. The others were happy to drink it, and they said, well, at least it'll keep our stomachs from knocking together tonight. And they were the ones that were praising and thanking God into the night as they began to sing hymns. And Eric Beharry even pulled out his trumpet that he had felt was valuable enough to find a place in his suitcase. Well, as the morning dawned, there was still a ways for them to go. And they pressed on towards where the beginning of the India Road was, where they would have buses or trucks or something to take them on to their destination. As they got there, they were excited to realize they were going to have a good night's sleep on a mattress and even a warm bath and the chance to shave. They looked different, totally different than they had, and were excited. However, there was another group who didn't bother to do that. All they wanted to know was, where can we get our hands on some good beer? As they looked around, they found a place, and they had a party into the night. But they all knew they had to be awake by 8:30 in the morning. There they were, every one of them ready, because that's when the trucks would arrive. As some army trucks came in, they saw them old vehicles, sides up halfway, an old canopy on top, and in pressed that group whose heart had come to the service. We were here before you guys. Will you guys wait for the next one? And they piled in. The group left behind smiled and said to themselves, we didn't want to be in there with you anyway, and waited, and sure enough, the next vehicles came. To their surprise, they were 3 big, beautiful buses with padded chairs that could even lean back. As they relaxed and began to head down the road, they looked out the windows, and there were the others that had gone first, packed in like sardines, looking at them with longing eyes as they went off ahead and the dust settled behind them. They thought to themselves of that Bible text that says, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. What is our view of the end of the road? Do we have a sense of the nearness of Jesus coming? Are we living in such a way that we will not regret how we spend our money, how we spend our time? You and I can think carefully. We can examine our lifestyles now while there's time and build that life that goes steadily upwards so that when it comes time and our life is in danger, is in trouble, the goodness of Jesus Christ will rise to the top. Let's begin now. Let's reach the world ASAP.